Kia ora. Exciting topic today from Powerful Parenting World. Making the most of being human. How play, another version of play, can actually change your life. So today we're going to find out what it is that really helps us get the best out of ourselves in this human experience that we are enjoying in our lives. So the first part of it is an idea that play is an acronym for presence, letting go, acknowledgement, and yes. So let's go through these and understand why play is the way that you can make the most of being human. So P, being present fully and in all the ways that you can be. So in our human beingness, in our human energy, we need to give our body the best chance because our body is the carrier for our life. Without our body, we are not alive. And so what we need to do is practice being present in the moment. So that's helping our mind and body to be connected and in this current moment, not planning on focusing on other areas or other time frames, other people, being in this actual moment. And the next thing we can do after being really present in this moment is to practice letting our body fully relax. This means letting go of any muscles that do not need to be held in this moment, not wasting energy holding tight spaces in our bodies, and also that is also blocking the energy flows and the emotions as well. So part of making the most of being human is actually to release those blockages and relax the muscles, the cells, and all the connective tissue. Allow ourselves to really, truly be relaxed. This is a journey I've been had my eyes opened to in the last couple of years. I used to think it was a hallmark of my strength that I held muscles tight often. And I neglected to realize that while we need to hold the muscles tight, we also need to let them relax as well. Muscles are meant to be held and released, not just held all the time. So I've been learning how to release muscles that have been held for probably decades. So to give your body the best chance, after you're present in this moment and noticing what's going on, allowing the experience to wash over you, you're letting your body relax, and you're also letting the emotions flow. So noticing what emotions are there and letting the energy of those emotions flow throughout your body. That's all emotions are, is chemicals. They are chemicals that have been released by your brain and body and are flowing through. When they're allowed to do all that they're supposed to do, when they're allowed to flow and go through their life cycle, they move on. When we hold on to them, when we block them, when we judge them and say, I shouldn't feel this way, what's wrong with me? I need to feel another way, and we stop them, we avoid them, we deny them, then actually that is not helping our bodies to be the best version of themselves. So this little PRA acronym I've found, present, relaxed, allowing all emotions, has been incredibly useful for allowing my body to be the best version it can be. And while we're being present and relaxing and allowing the emotions, also listening to what are the messages, allowing those messages to bubble up. What are they telling me? What am I learning about what my body needs, what my body wants, what would be helpful for healing and growing? And respect and trust those messages as much as possible. Allow them to be true for you rather than being dubious of them. We'll get to it a bit more in a moment, but in our society, we often trust the rational far more than the messages coming from our body, and from those more difficult to define places. They are all part of us. We are a human being which is whole, has a whole body, not just a brain that walks around. And when we are getting these messages from the body, it's really helpful after listening to them, trusting them, respecting them. We need to then take action. So if you want a different result, you need to take a different action. So this is really, really important when you're wanting to make the most of your life and you're waiting for someone else to do something, for the circumstances to change, for everything to be in alignment. Actually, you need to take a different action, and then you will get a different result. And from that result, you'll know what different action to take next time to keep going, moving, shifting, changing. That is what we are. We are changing creatures. We often think that we are stable and that people don't change. That's a myth. We are constantly changing, constantly growing. And it's the blocking of that change and growth which can actually hinder us, make us sick, and it stops us being our best version of ourselves. It stops us from making the most of being human. So allowing the being present and relaxing the muscles and letting those emotions flow, this can be a bit uncomfortable. And I really get that. Over the last several years, I've had a lot of practice now at staying in a difficult conversation where the outcome is uncertain, where the emotions are uncomfortable, where my actions feel really awkward. I encourage you to look up Brené Brown and some wonderful wisdom she has to share about staying awkward, staying in the discomfort, and staying in the conversation even when it's feeling uncomfortable and difficult. So that's the first part of making the most of being human. The P for present, fully, wholly present in the body, and allowing the body to do what it is meant to do, which is send messages and us to listen to those messages and accommodate those as best we can. Now, the next letter in play is L. Let go. Let go. Let go the judgment. Let go the need to rely on the rational all the time. Often there are rational reasons or rational blocks why we don't take action that our body actually needs. These are hindering you from making the most of being human. Let go of all that, the rational and the reasons that are solely focused in the head. Take them into account, yes. You do not need to be attached to them. You do not need to be holding on to them so tightly at the expense of listening to the other parts of your body. And let go of the judgment of what people might think, or let go of the need to please others. Let go of your own judgment about what you think. One piece of our body is the right action. Let go of the habits that have been running our lives. They are not necessarily in our favor. Let go of the need to be a certain way. Embrace the uncertain. Embrace what could be new. Try things out. You'll learn from them, if nothing else. Laugh is another adjunct to the L. So while you're letting go, you can also let yourself laugh, let yourself love, let yourself live. Trust those messages and the energy flows in your body, and really go with that flow. Again, let go. So that's the L part of play for making the most of being human. So what's our next letter? A. A for acknowledge. Now, acknowledge only what is true without any judgment. So this is the tricky part. Our brain oversteps itself. Actually, the thinking part of the brain often oversteps the mark and takes on more than is actually helpful. What you're really wanting is to be able to observe objectively what is happening outside and within you as well. So commentating from a spotlight point of view, this is where I'm at. I feel excited. I feel scared. And there'll probably be a cocktail of emotions as well. We're usually not just one. I feel this, I feel that. This is happening in my body. There is a pain here. This part feels relaxed. This is going on over there. A person has these facial expressions. I wonder what's going on for them. We don't judge. We don't say they are a bully or they are a certain way. We don't know. We can take a guess, but that may not be very helpful. Now, the worst part of our mind part of our brain, the thinking part of our brain, is that it creates labels and says things like, I'm so terrible, or they're so useless. What's wrong with me? I'm no good at this action that I'm wanting to take. So all of these questions and statements, they're not the truth. They are not particularly helpful, and they send us off and waste time and energy. And that is not going to help make the most of being human. Really focus on what is actually factual in the moment, what is not what is assumed or created by the brain, by the thinking parts of the brain. There is a lot of parts of the brain. It's the thinking part that often has been highlighted as the most important. It has been lifted, elevated to the top position of what we need to trust. And actually, to make the most of being human, we need to follow through all of the parts of our body and listen to all of them, take everything into account. So noticing when you're adding stories or meaning to a situation where you don't need to be doing this. Noticing where there is, there's an added leap of faith and a judgment that takes you into a place where it's actually limiting your actions or your belief about yourself. So avoid that meaning making. And I know that's difficult because we often are meaning-making machines. Along with acknowledging what is happening in our thinking part of our brain and sticking with the facts there, we're also acknowledging the urges and the feelings, the messages from the rest of the body, from other parts of the brain, from our heart, from our gut. There is brain material in our heart and gut. These parts of us are very wise, and there are messages coming throughout our days from parts of our bodies. So being open to the messages is really, really important. Allow the whole truth to wash over you, not just a little tailored, manicured piece that is actually limiting your ability to make the most of this human experience. And the last letter is Y. Yes! Just say yes. So having been practicing being present and relaxing the body and allowing all emotions, taking in all the messages, letting the truth wash over you, letting go of what should be and what shouldn't be, and all those rules that have been culturally created and are often around control and power, and they're not needed. To make the most of being human, we're letting go of all of that, we're acknowledging, we're right in our body, and then we are really saying yes to what we know we need to do, how we need to feel, how we want to feel, and not letting regard for what other people will think get in the way of that. This is, often we're right there and ready to go, and then we go, oh no, what would people think? Oh, this could not work. This is not a good idea, and run into the brain, try and rationalize, and the rational brain shuts it down because of fear, actually, of having other people think things, make meaning about us. Now, when we conform to what other people want of us, we are not really in a position to make the most of being human. So this is why, just say yes. Of course, do a bit of a check. Make sure your actions are not going to hurt others. Make sure that there's a little bit of health and safety, a little bit of checking in about the impacts. There's no need to linger there too long. The longer you linger there, the more likely you are to say no. And actually, most of the time, if it feels good, do it, and do it now. If you're walking along and you feel like doing a little jump, do a little jump. If you feel like reaching up and tapping a branch, do that. I call this play. Not just the acronym of what we're talking about today, but general, joyful, in the moment, moving your body, using your body in a way that feels good. And there are loads of ways for that sort of play. And it's very, very important for us to do that. And if it feels good for your body, it is good for you. Let yourself feel good. Unfortunately, some of the ways that we have been parenting for a while have been quite limiting on children's and most of society's ability to let themselves feel good. And this is something that actually is part of being human. Allow yourself to feel an urge. And if it's not really going to put anyone out too particularly, too hugely, just do it. Say yes to what you know you need to do and be in your world. And say yes to really playing and loving life and truly living. So we had a bit of a look through of an acronym for play, for making the most of being human. So play in the way that play joyfully and play with presence, letting go, acknowledgement, and saying yes. There's an exciting world out there for those people who are willing to step out of the restrictions and the habits that we've created through our lives. There is huge possibility for being the person that you're meant to be and truly making the most of being human. So let's go to some questions.